To me, some of the biggest news is this, that Paul Tudor Jones, and in my world, he's a god. I mean, not just in the hedge funds. But he just took a position in Bitcoin, I think it's 1 or 2%. Now, that's huge news. And his comment was, Bitcoin today is like gold was in 1971. In 1971, gold was $35. And with the next few years, gold ran up to $850. So for a guy, is a really smart guy, Paul Tudor Jones says, Bitcoin is like gold was at $35. Paul Tudor Jones buying or endorsing Bitcoin and taking a position in Bitcoin means the US dollar is dying. So all you savers out there, all you people working hard for money and all this, you're the biggest losers of all if you don't get with the program here. On the other side of the coin, you have Warren Buffett, who has 150 billion in cash. He refuses to get into equities because the stock market is too high. The stock market is in a bubble. He refuses to put his money in. Meanwhile, mom and pop got their 401ks, or they're counting on their teachers' pensions, which are going bust. And they're sitting there hoping the stock market stays up. Buffett won't get into it. And then Buffett trashes Bitcoin and he trashes gold. So about 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, the US, all the US guys in Wall Street started laughing at Japan, because Japan tanked in early 1990. At one time, for those who may not remember this, but the palace gardens, the royal gardens of Japan were worth more than the entire state of California at the top of the bubble. So Japan never recovered, and they've not done what I call bite the bullet. They've not fixed the problem. They just hang on, and they keep their central bank, the Bank of Japan, keeps buying ETFs. But Americans for 30 years have been laughing at Japan. Well, just yesterday, the US Fed started buying ETFs. There's rumors it's going to buy student loan debt, which is good for the students. But the basic Fed is doing its best to, quote, print money, find a way to make some excuse to create money, to get fake money into the system. Once again, the dollar is dead, it's dying. So when I look at everything out there, you have gold, you have Bitcoin, you have Paul Tudor Jones, you have guys like Ray Dalio of Bridgewater, another stud in the hedge fund world. And he's recommending people buy some gold. Central banks are buying gold. And Bitcoin's on fire right now because, Bitcoin takes a lot of energy, oil, either electricity. So what that means is that the emerging countries with oil, are guys that hate us. So they're going to start producing Bitcoin cheap because it's the way of beating the corrupt US dollar. This is really bad news for the US dollar. It's bad news for anybody who is working hard for money and saving money and investing money in the US stock markets. I don't think it's going to be strong for much longer. Who knows? Nobody knows, because when the crash comes, it just crashes at high speed. I'm just saying Bitcoin operates outside the corrupt Federal Reserve US dollar banking system. It's really going to depend upon what you look at the world, how you see the world, and what you're hoping for in the future. There's going to be plenty of money in the US because the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, which means most of the world's debt is denominated in US dollars. But that's not going to last much longer.